3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to our post-game edition. Penn State 34-6 over Eastern Michigan. It was a win, Neil, but really disappointing and tough day for the Penn State program because a couple of key players, very respected players, got injured, and it really kind of set the mood after the game with Dan Lynn and Michael Motti getting injured. That was really the talk of the post-game.
Yeah, they're saying Motti's out for the year with an ACL injury, which is a real tough break for him because that's his second major knee injury. He does have another year left, but who knows what this does. He was just really rounding into form. Took him a lot of last year to recover from the 2009 injury. And when you see an injury to Danton Lynn where he's mobilized, everybody gets scared. The place was very quiet. They're saying that he's moving and that he should be okay.
Yeah, he had movement in his extremities, but he was carted off the field. We don't know what the severity of that might be. They called it a stinger, so you would expect, I would think, that no one talked about how much time he might miss, but you would think he would miss at least a few games, and hopefully he'll be okay beyond that. But really scary, and what's interesting is that, Danton Lynn's was very scary, but he probably should be okay and be able to return. Michael Motti was just there was really nobody even around him. He was just making a move, and his knee buckled out, and that ends up costing him a season.
Yeah, and he kind of went off a little bit under his own power.
Mm-hmm.
There were people, trainers there, but it didn't look initially that serious.
Yeah, very sad situation. Hopefully they'll be able to bounce back from that physically and mentally, because these are two of your team leaders. All the players were talking about how much respected these guys are. Drew Estorino was talking about how these are friends as much as they are teammates. But you know what? I talked to Devin Still, and he said, he flat admitted that he's concerned about the defense right now because coming off of last year, Neil, they had all these injuries, and it really decimated their defense. That was not a typical Penn State defense last year. You lose two key guys like Lynn and Motti, we don't really know what to expect from this defense.
No, and I mean, this is two of their, for sure, top 5 or 6 defensive players, and definitely two of their most experienced kids and great leaders. So, but as Joe said afterwards, kind of that's football, and you have to be able to pick up the pieces and move forward. You have to have enough depth in the program. They played Kyrie Fort a lot more in the second half after Motti went out. Nate Stupar, who hasn't really been playing a lot, seems like he got more opportunity. So linebacker is a position that they have a lot of depth at.
34-6 win. Matt McGloin played a career game for him, 14 out of 17, more than 200 yards. Was terrific, had 3 touchdown passes. Rob Bolden came back with the screen play that went for the 71-yard score to Davon Smith, which helped his numbers. McGloin caught up a little bit more in the competition today, but we do still have a quarterback competition. I don't think they're just going to give the job to Matt McGloin. They're just not going to give the job to Rob Bolden, but both of them are still right there.
I think it's working out, generally speaking. Everybody figured they'd be 3-1 at this point. They struggled to beat Temple. Temple looks like they may be better than people thought they were going to be. They blew out Maryland today, which was really a shocking score. Sometimes you play an emotional game with Penn State and you lose, and then you lose the next week too. So I got to really give credit to Al Golden and the kind of shape that he left that program, and that's a tremendous win for Temple. But McGloin has come in 3 times now and really energized them off the bench. So in that regard, I think it's working. You can debate whether can they afford that. I thought McGloin played great today.
It is such a great debate because Phil Smore, the assistant sports editor for the Mirror, he's on the camera, by the way. We had a good discussion at halftime, and Phil is exactly right from the standpoint that I think everyone would agree Rob Bolden has more potential. Rob Bolden, if he were to just play every snap from here on out through the rest of his career, you would think that his upside would be more than McGloin's down the road. And I don't know that anybody can really disagree with that. But to me, Matt McGloin is the better quarterback today, and that's the dilemma they're in. Do you try to win today to beat Eastern Michigan and beat Indiana? Or, as Phil Smore said, and this is another great point, do you try to get your program back to where you're going to get your quarterback in the situation where you can beat the Ohio States and Wisconsins?
Right.
And we've not seen that McGloin can play up to those kind of caliber of opponents.
Absolutely, and they've always measured themselves against that level of competition. I think that's to their credit. I mean, with this kind of facility and their tradition, if they're only mission is to be 8-4 and beat these non-conference teams bad, I think that's really a point of emphasis. But McGloin has proven that he can come off the bench and play well. We don't know how Bolden, if McGloin comes out and they don't play well, then is the position weaker, because Bolden doesn't have the take charge attitude that I think McGloin has.
Yeah, and McGloin can come off the bench and play well, as you mentioned. Again, I think McGloin is the better quarterback today. Could he beat a Wisconsin or Nebraska or Ohio State? Maybe not, but I don't know that Rob Bolden can beat Purdue or Iowa or Northwestern or Illinois. So it is a very interesting situation.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. At least they're playing to. For years, everybody screamed, why don't you play a second quarterback?
All right. For Rudel, I'm Corey Geiger, and thanks to Phil Smore on the camera work.